Welcome to my channel. Here we are using AI to enrich the learning experiences of our students. So, we live in the world of generative AI right now, and AI can create for us enormous variety of content: video, audio, graphical, text, image. Now, as teachers, what we can do, or what we should be doing, is figuring out ways we can use this enormous resource of content generation to really custom tailor and make specific learning experiences for our students. So, hey, how about this? Check this out. Hey, so here is an AI adventure I put together called the Sunship. Okay, mission objectives. Welcome aboard, science officer. That will be the student. Here are the primary objectives of our mission as we embark on this educational journey through the sun. They'll have a solar flare counter. They'll explore the different layers of the sun. They're going to collect temperature readings in degrees Kelvin. And they're going to get some quizzes along the way. And occasionally a photo will pop in, or they'll request a photo. This is the launch facility that the Sunship is going to launch from. Are you ready to board and begin our adventure? And they type begin. And the mission initiated. Their first is a solar flare encounter. Not sure why the picture didn't pop in. Is a solar flare encounter. And they collect their data. And it gives them a little information about a solar flare. And then it gives them a quick multiple choice question about solar flares. And then they move on to their next adventure. Next, they go through the corona. They learn about the temperature of the corona, some scientific information, and take a little quiz about it. And they can get an image, okay, of the sun as well as they go on this too. Okay, then they get their question again. The main objective as they go through their adventure is to collect data about the temperature and the distance from the core. And then they're going to graph that data. Once they've graphed this data, we're going to go ahead and export this graph into their actual accessible assignment. So this is what I would end up collecting as the final accessible document for this adventure. They'd put in their graph, then they have some questions to find the purpose of the graph, X, Y actionship. This is kind of a standard graph analysis thing I have set up. And then I want them to write their own questions, but very importantly, I want them to go ahead and summarize this material. So this is taking the material provided by an AI, generative AI, and changing it into an accessible learning experience for our students. So I'm going to show you guys how we do this. I built this adventure using a GPT is a tool that allows us as teachers to narrowly define an AI interaction, putting training wheels on an AI. They're simple to build, easy to edit, and they're easy to share. As teachers, this is going to give us a platform to share and distribute our AI tools and lessons to others too. I'm going to put my links out there to my Sunship, to the Troy adventure that I'm about to show you. We can share these amongst ourselves. It's a really cool tool. Now, we're going to build a GPT adventure. We're going to create and edit a GPT. We're going to collect and import the context data for our GPT. I'll show you how to build it, how to test it, how to edit it, and then we're going to create actually a learning experience. We're going to do a GPT adventure on a war correspondent going to the Trojan War. Cool. Let's check this out. So, we're going to write an adventure about a student reporter that goes to the Trojan War and interviews the key participants to find out their perspective, why the war is the way it's happening, what's going on. Now, I don't know a lot about the Trojan War from a teacher's perspective, so I'm going to get some context together for the AI to narrowly focus what the AI is going to teach. Now, the AI will reach beyond what I give it, but we're going to create what we call the knowledge base for this activity. This gives you an opportunity to tweak exactly what's going to be taught by the AI. So, first of all, let's get a learning target. And like all the times I do this, I'm going to give myself some choices. I'm going to have it give me 5 learning targets about middle school Trojan War studies. That's not my thing, so I got some help from the AI. I like number 2 about this learning target. Key characters identification. Students will be able to identify and summarize the roles of major figures. So I'm going to start with that. Sure. List 8 characters from each side of the Trojan War. Describe the character's role and point of view from the war. Now it gives all of the different Greek and their corresponding Trojan side as well. When I read this, I said, wait a minute, where's Helen? Oh, I had to add Helen because it was on both sides, and the AI got a little like, oh, it's not a Greek, it's not a Trojan. I will just not include Helen, which you can't do. So anyway, I made it include Helen. And again, this is the reason I do this, so that if there's any misunderstandings on the material, I can actually edit it and change it and tweak it a little bit before I send it to my students. Describe the war in terms of political and economic reality. So it goes through all of this. And then synthesis. So put it all together for me. I just copied this entire chat with the good old-fashioned Control A, Control Copy, and I just put that into a document. That becomes the knowledge base for this particular GPT. You can tweak this, you can make it look, add more to it, subtract from it, put in the key points, and you could actually put in your own assignments, things that you had already done in class. I just used GPT to get me some data to work with, but you could actually use your own data, your own assignments, and put that into what we call the knowledge base. And I'll be coming back to that later. So one of the things you want to do first is collect the knowledge that you want to pass on to the students. So now let's go ahead and build our GPT. Okay, so how do you build a GPT? Well, first, let's go ahead. You have to go to ChatGPT 4.0, which is free now. Now, you may not get all of the graphics and etc. unless you buy a different enterprise account or whatever. But GPT-4 allows you to create and edit. So you would go here and make sure you select GPT-4. Then you want to make sure you go over here and select your My GPT, so your little profile here, and you hit My GPTs. And then it's going to bring up this new menu you may not have seen before, My GPTs. Now you can see I've got a lot of little works in progress here. And what you want to do is create a brand new one. Okay, so now we've created a brand new GPT, or in the process of creating now a new GPT. Now you have two interfaces. You have the configure interface where you can go in and add your information to these text boxes automatically, or you can go through the create process, which will step you through the process one step at a time. I still use create to get the base in, and then I tweak it inside configure. All right, what would you like to make? Now, I have typed out a prompt over here that I'm going to use to build my interview. Students will be able to identify and summarize the roles. I'm going to re-emphasize the learning target. I'm going to tell it to use that knowledge base, which we'll come back to a little bit later. A student will take on the role of the interviewer. The AI will serve as an escort, taking the student interviewer to each location and person. While moving between characters, you as the AI should describe with historical accuracy the surroundings as you travel to the next interviewer. See how I got some typos and stuff like that? This is kind of cool where you do the configure. I'm just going to reread this and put it into terms that are a little more specific. So this is my prompt, and I like to save my prompts because sometimes I just tweak them later. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this over right into the text box here. And tell you, this is our plan. This is the adventure we want to build. So now the GPT is updating. It's taking my prompt there of the adventure that we're building, and it's putting it into a format it understands. So now if you want, we can go now over to configure and see what happened. Scored up for the Trojan Warrior learning experience, which are blah, 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 etc. So it put that information under instructions. Let's go ahead and do what's next. Do you have the name? I'm using a convention of my own called Adventure, and then I tell it what the adventure is, Trojan War. That's just my naming convention. Oh, that's my naming convention. You can use your own. So I'm giving it a name. That becomes the name of this particular GPT. It's being updated now. It's going to generate a profile pic. This is sometimes fun. I let it do its thing. So it's using its own internal image generation right now to generate its own picture. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right. So do we like it? We like it. Now, what aspects should be emphasized? We want to emphasize historical accuracy. So it's updating its little GPT thing. How do you want the AI to interact with the student? Should be tone formal, friendly, or something else? Let's call it instructional. All right. Now it's building its updating this GPT over here. See how we're filling things out. We set the tone to be instructional now. You should have your AI's clarification when needed or fill in missing details. Ask for clarification. This is supposed to be a learning experience. And as you can see, I'm the world's best typist. I'm going to send that in. Updating the GPT. And I think we're almost ready to launch. I think we're going to be okay. So go over here now. We got to think everything we got in. Oh, we didn't do our knowledge base. So we want to upload files for our knowledge base. So this is why we created that document. Again, this could be other things from other lessons you've had, etc. So let's go ahead and upload our knowledge base. Knowledge base for Trojan War. I made it into a PDF. Now that information now is part of the learning experience for the students. Again, you can use your own material here. I just used that stuff that we created using GPT. All right, now let's go over here. You can create actions, etc. I ignore this because that's about using API calls and stuff like that. I'm not that advanced. I do have the web browsing and DALL-E image turned on. I'm not sure what comes with the free versions. That's always changing. I don't need code interpreter this time. I did need it for my last assignment where we did the graphing. So I'll leave that out this time. All right. Now I'm going to hit create over here. We've got everything ready to go. This is kind of like the save button. All right, create. And who do you want to see it? I'm brave. I'm going to publish it to the GPT store. You guys can find it now. All right, save. Now we've got Adventure, Trojan War by Joshua T. Cantrell. Now it's available to you guys if you go to the GPT store. Now it's go ahead and I guess it's saving and updating. And now let's run it and see how it's working. All right, let's see how the adventure turned out. I just typed begin at the start of the adventure. We're going to come back and take a look at that when I show you how to edit. So, here we go. Welcome to the court of King Priam, the venerable ruler of the great city of Troy. I am your guide here to assist you on this epic journey. As we approach, you can see the grand halls, tapestries, etc. It's trying to set the mood. AI guide. King Priam, could you tell us about your role and experiences? King Priam. Now, I wanted it to be the student this, but it didn't go exactly the way I wanted, but it turned out okay, as you'll see. Ask, isn't this just about the economics? So the student is asking the AI and the AI is asking King Priam. So not exactly how I wanted to do it, but I tried to fix that, but it turned out okay. AI guide. King Priam. Some might say the Trojan War was driven by economic and political motivations. King Priam. Complexity of war, so it gives that. Now, who do you wish to speak with next? Perhaps the Valiant gave some ideas here, Prince Hector or the controversial Paris. Now, I didn't put in a multiple choice question or anything like that just to keep it simple this time around, but you could add things like that to it. Now, but what I did do is I asked the students, and this is kind of their assignment, is to collect pictures of their adventure. So here I asked it to do a portrait of King Priam. This is going to be something that they can add to their assignment at the end. So they go through, next I forget who I did. I went to Hector and I asked him, do you agree with Paris taking Helen? And Hector wasn't all into it, but he said he's my brother, so I have to deal with it. And then here's a picture of Hector. Here was, I'm not sure who that was. Oh, black and white. I decided I want to see what a black and white image looked like. I just went off script a little bit. This is why this is cool. This is not Zork. This is not nested if-then statements. I went off script. Somebody that's not in the knowledge base. Let's interview a common soldier, Trojan soldier. Reading Brave Soldier, even gave him a name, I think, Lysander, and walked through his point of view of the war. And I asked him how many friends he lost. So I'm trying to humanize the war a little bit. And this is just more curiosity. And again, this kind of gives you the idea that this is not just a very fixed set of instructions. This is broad. The AI will take you where you want to go. So I asked it, where does the food for 9 years come from? I was always curious about that. So it goes through the different things. All right, so I go through and we do our interviews. Here I interviewed the mother. Again, going off script a little bit to see what the AI would do. I had the mother and her perspective of losing her soldiers. Then I went over to the Greek side. Let's interview the Greeks. And I asked them to list them. Here's the key Greeks to talk to. Because maybe you don't know who the Greek guys are. And I started with Agamemnon and asked him about his perspective, etc. All right, feel free to ask him. And then I got I decided I want to see the Greek ships in the harbor. So I had the image do Greek ships in the harbor. More photograph of my interviews. So we go through all this. Here's Agamemnon at his war council, going through the Greek camp. Went to Ajax. Here's Ajax with his giant shield. In my head, I thought that was a square shield, but that's okay. Here's Ajax with his super shield as part of the Trojan War. Oh, we got to go to Achilles, of course. I went to Achilles. All right, there's a picture of Achilles. Went to Odysseus. Got to see Odysseus, too. Went and talked to him about his plan to do the horse. Let's see, what did I do? Can you tell me about this famous idea involving the wooden horse? And it explained the Trojan horse thing, and then I asked it to do an image of this. Then I decided to go way off script and decided to ask the gods themselves what's going on. Asked Athena and Aphrodite what's going on. Are they angry with each other? The AI guide asked them. And indeed, there's tension between us, says Athena. Aphrodite's action in favoring Paris and causing... This was not part of my knowledge base. This is the AI reaching outside and accurately describing the relationship. And then a really cool picture here of Athena and Aphrodite facing off. How did I prompt this? Ethereal image of Athena and Aphrodite, angry facing off. So this is what I want the students to do, though. I want them to explore with their pictures, assuming they've got the accounts for it. Here is the Greek gods in council about the Trojan War. I tried to put that together. There is a look from the battlements of the Trojan War. So we've collected photos, we've collected images, we've collected interviews. So now let's put this into the assignment. First, before I show you how to turn this into an assignment, let me show you how to edit and distribute it. Go back up here to your profile, open that up and hit My GPTs again. And now you're going to see that you have a GPT there that you can edit GPT. Now, one of the things I almost always edit are these prompts here. I want to put in type start to begin and type make or show image of, to just give the students a little bit more of a break. Now, where this shows up is when they first launch the GPT. So you might change and play with that. You can update or add to your knowledge base if you want. And then once you're done, you want to hit update. Give it a chance. This is going to change those things that I updated in terms of the opening prompts. And now we can copy the link and send it to people we want, or we can launch the GPT. That's how you edit. Now, let's go ahead and show you how you make this into a learning experience accessible for your students. This is what I call the adventure page. If you've had seen any of my other videos, you'll see that this is the way I present material to my students. On this side, we have the context, and in this case, their learning target and the images that they selected during their adventure. This becomes the context side. Over here, I have what I call the processing side. And I usually do a level 1, level 2, level 3 processing. Level 1, in this case, all I want them to do is just list the Greeks and Trojans participating in the war. Level 2, I have some questions. What do the Greeks claim as the reasons for the war versus what do the Trojans claim as the reason? Describe an interview with one of the Greek participants and one of the Trojan participants. Go ahead and describe that. Then, of course, level 3 is the learning target. I want them to actually answer what is the essential question. This becomes then the accessible assignment for the learning experience. Now, if you guys want me to publish these things or let me know, say something in the comments, and I will see what I can do to get this stuff to you. So this is how we take the adventure and then summarize it into a learning experience. Collect the photos, process the adventure. So what are some of the other things we could do? Other ideas. We could collect interviews or images from history from all sorts of different events. Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project, Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement. You could set up in your classroom this ongoing curriculum where your students go to different points in history and collect images and interviews. From the science side, a lot of stuff we can do too. You could go inside a cell, go inside the human body. You guys remember Fantastic Voyage? You could collect CO2 and temperature data across time and put together a climate chart. Another fun thing to do might be to go with Darwin on Darwin's journey on the HMS Beagle and go with the different stops that he made along the way. All sorts of different adventures you could do. We learned today. We learned what a GPT is. It's a tool that can create a custom AI interaction for our students. It's like AI with training wheels. We learned how to create and edit and distribute our AIs using the GPT store. We learned how to make a GPT adventure. We made a Trojan War adventure, and we made it into an accessible assignment. Now, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and please comment. Let me know what you'd like me to work on or show you, or let me know how you feel about using this material in the classroom. Thank you very much for your time.